Hi there. Welcome to Everyone Can Jam, where everyone can learn to play guitar. And if you're a little bit beyond beginner, you can learn to play E flat. That's what we're talking about today. This is not an absolute beginner lesson. This is a little bit beyond beginner, but pretty early on, if you're familiar with the C chord shape, if you're familiar with that shape for a normal old C chord, you can learn this E flat chord. A student recently asked me how to play E flat. She was transposing, and the key she chose, one of the chords ended up being E flat, and I just told her, well, really, it's better to use a capo or transpose so that you don't have to play E flat. But since then, I've discovered a really nice E flat chord that's not difficult to play. I can't believe it eluded me for so many years. So I'm going to show you that today. And what else do I need to say? Yeah, well, I was going to start with, these old music books sometimes, they were written for piano, not guitar. And then somebody just slapped guitar chords on, and they might have it in a key that's not very good for guitarists. And what they would do is show you an E flat that looks, you're supposed to like play this here and play the D shape here. You can physically do it, but it's not easy and it doesn't sound very good. So here's the thing. I'm going to link this in a playlist. There's another video lesson in there somewhere about movable chord shapes that are not bar chords. So we'll tie these two together. I don't think I mentioned in that lesson the E flat, but remember, this is a beyond beginner lesson. So if it feels a little too hard or confusing, just come back later when you've learned a little bit more. So here's the C shape that you may be familiar with. And we talked about how this shape actually is movable. The thing that happens in some places, the open strings sound kind of weird, and in some places they sound just fine. So let's work our way up from C. This is a C note, the root of a C chord. If you go a whole step higher, that's a D. If you play it here, that's going to be a D chord. And usually what I do, it just depends on the song. Sometimes the open strings sound kind of cool. Depends on the song. But we're talking about this chord in that other lesson. But if you go up just one fret higher, it turns out that and if you leave the third string open, I'm going to start here where I'm fretting. So it's still the C shape. Index finger is in 4th fret. This note here actually is an E flat. So is this. Those are the roots on this chord shape. This open string, the 3rd string, is a G note, which actually is part of the E flat chord. So if I just play 5th string, all those notes sound good in an E flat chord. And kind of a nice thing you can do for E flat is if you put the pinky here on the 1st string, you get another note. Let's see, which note is that? B flat. Yeah. Another thing, what I like to do with this movable shape is if I don't want to hear you don't want to hear, this is the E note, you don't want to hear this in your E flat chord. If I don't want to hear the 6th string, I just let my thumb plop over and it's muting. So that's a pretty nice sounding E flat chord. What else? If you're a finger picker, or even with a flat pick, if you want to move this finger back and forth between here and here, you'll get some bass notes. So that's another way of dealing with this 6th string, is just actually fretting it here, or I warned you, this is not a beginner lesson. This is beyond beginner, okay? I'm giving you a lot of options here. You can also squeeze on the 6th string and let this finger mute the string beneath it. So when I say it's easy, I mean physically easy. Depending on where you are in your guitar journey, it might be confusing because I gave you a lot of options, but you do have to deal with the open strings in that position, either by, well, actually on the E flat chord, if you put your pinky here, you only have to figure out what to do with that low string. And one more bonus, this is the Beatles ending. If you are, say I'm playing a song in the key of G, and if that song needs to have an E flat in it, you can play your E flat chord, and then you can go a whole step higher, and then a whole step higher, which is, now you're back to a G chord again. Isn't that cool? So this would have been, yeah, F chord. So what we have here is E flat, whole step higher, F chord, and that's your Beatles ending. That is 3 major chords, all a whole step apart, landing on the chord that is the name of the key that you're in. And usually that chord is the chord that the song started with. So anyway, there's your E flat chord, and if you ever needed an E flat, now you got one. Talk to you later. Please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.